Hey everyone, today we have the founder of Inevitable with us, Tiago. Hey Tiago, how's it going?
Hey guys, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
What's cooking in your head these days? What's occupying your brain in the Web3 world?
A lot of things. I think that this year, Web3 will need to rebuild itself, maybe, because we had like 2020 and 2021, the bull market, and let's go to the moon and so on. And a lot of those companies and builders, they are now, okay, at the end of the day, we need a profitable, a profitable business. And of course, all the major implications from the macro, like startups are not raising as much as they were like some years ago. So I think a lot of great things coming, but a lot of challenges as well.
Got it, got it. I think we are at this time when it is coming off the hype cycle and it is coming to more realistic where people are looking for more value out of this. So before that, maybe we want to know more about your journey on how you started this journey into Web3. What was your eureka moment and where you are now?
Okay, that's a great question. I think I don't have a specific Eureka moment, maybe some of them that were like a lot of bricks that built this wall. But I have been studying and reading about blockchain and crypto and so on for a lot of years now. And then in 2020, like I was an enthusiast. Oh, this is huge. This is a great industry. This will change a lot of things. And then in December 2020, I think, Kaina, that is a great friend of mine, he sent me a message saying, "Hey, something I would love to explore would be NFTs." And like NFTs, they are inside all the Web3 and crypto movement, but they are very special from a brand perspective. So I think this was like the eureka moment for me. Like, of course, we have a lot of hype and a lot of people just thinking about their return on investment and so on. But when you put aside all this and start to see NFTs as a technology, it's mind blowing. Like what Bored Ape did with their brand, and hey, this is your ape, you can build it, use this, and that's okay. This is a new paradigm in how people can collab and build new businesses and build new brands and so on. And of course, we are still far away from consolidation, so we are still discovering the best practices and so on. Like 2021, we had a lot of new NFT collections coming, and cool
Yeah.
cats and untamed elephants and wicked craniums and invisible friends and so on. And I think a lot of brands and these native NFT collections, they thought that, hey, we can rely just on royalties or new drops and build a business on this. And this is not true. Like relying on new drops and royalties can work for Bored Ape or Cool Cats or Doodles and so on, but this is not sustainable for a business point of view. So I think now we are starting to see how these companies and other companies entering this space will use NFTs as a mean, not as an end itself.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm very fascinated about this and very excited for this. Of course, this is not easy. We will still have a lot of crashes and a lot of scams and so on. But yeah, sorry, I was not focused on the question. But coming back to the question, my record moment was on when I realized that these technologies, they could change the way brands interact with each other and brands interact with their audience. So I think this is very, very powerful.
So, you said the brand will change the way brand interact with other brands and their customers in general. In 2022, what were some of the best use cases of the NFT technology that we have seen coming from the brand's end?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of different use cases. So right now, the hype is still on NFT collections and JPEGs and profile pictures, and I think this is good because profile pictures at the end of the day they are a great bridge between Web 2 and Web 3. So you can show off in Web 2 that you are a Web 3 person, and
Yeah.
okay, that's a good use case, but of course we need more and more different use cases from different industries. I really like what Reddit did and is still
Yeah.
doing,
True.
Yeah,
because
that was cool.
yeah, they didn't try to create something that is very disruptive and to the moon and let's go, this is Web3. No, it like their product is very community driven, so it was like a perfect match between a Web2 platform and Web3 core features. So they just plug in some of these features and that's it. You have something new that is working, that is attracting new users. So I think it's a very, very special case, but I also like other cases that are not that glamorous, I think. For example, Shopify and Salesforce, because they are tech companies and they are
Yeah.
not thinking about, hey, let's launch an NFT collection and make billions of dollars out of that. No, they are thinking, okay, we are tech companies, we serve millions and millions of users and brands, and we can just bring Web3 capabilities, integrations, and so on to our products. So they are bringing these new technologies, new integrations, and so on to their existing products. And of course, the brands that want to use that to achieve a new audience in Web3 or a new product focused on Web3, they can just use that. So
Yeah.
they are very different approaches, but I think that this is one of the great points about Web3. You don't
Got
you
it.
don't need just one approach. You can have a lot of different approaches.
Got it. I think what also like Salesforce is doing, it is also going to impact the end users. Like it is actually going to drive more mass adoption. On that, I think I one of the case I really liked was of Starbucks, who is introducing a loyalty program through NFT
Mhm.
through Starbucks Odyssey in partnership with Polygon. I found that like innovative that they are not doing launching an NFT collection for the sake of launching it, but they are
Yeah,
actually building a lot of utility. So I also found that really cool.
yeah, I think that's a great example because I have a framework called the LEIC model for companies that are entering the space. And one of the strategies is to attach NFTs in an existing product. So Starbucks already had this giant loyalty program, and it's not the same thing, but of course they already know that people are loyal to their brand. So they're just thinking, okay, maybe we can try something new, take a step further here, and start to educate the audience about this and so on. And maybe some years from now, this will be huge. So I think this is a very, very good approach as well. Other case on this existing product strategy comes from a mobile gaming company called Wildlife. They have a lot of different games, 3 billion downloads, and so on. And they introduced NFTs in one of their games, existing game, card game. So a very, very smart approach because they had this existing product, millions and millions of players, and they introduced NFTs in a way that the players can keep uh, playing the game without the NFTs. The NFTs are just a plus that,
Okay.
Okay.
and, and this is smart because first the game is not their only product and their flagship game. So if turns out that this was a bad experiment and so on, okay, they can just, they will keep running their business. And at the end of the day, was I think was the best blockchain game last year for some of these major gaming magazines. So it's a very smart approach. Just attach that into an existing product, and the experience must continue. And the users that want to test that new feature, they can test it.
Got it, got it. On that, I have a follow-up question. Like for a brand which has been traditional, let's say a brand like Kellogg's, which sells cereals and breakfast item, if they want to do an NFT launch, what should be their go-to-market strategy? Because maybe not all of their end consumer is going to buy an NFT. How a brand like that should approach getting into the Web3, maybe through NFT? What do you think? What should be a right go-to-market approach for them?
Yeah, I think first maybe they can start by not launching an NFT collection upfront,
Okay.
because this is it. It may seem this is very simple, like you just create some art and you deploy the smart contract and so on, but it's not simple. And I think they can start some maybe some weeks or some months with some previous steps that are first they can first signal that they are entering the space. For example, some brands that are launching NFT collections right now, they don't even have their own ENS domain, you know. And having your own ENS domain, it's a great way to just show to the audience that you are entering the space, that you are aware of all these things, and that you are taking the next steps. And then you can start to use some of these Web3 tools like writing on Mirror or creating content around Web3 and NFTs and creating discussion about that and so on. And then you are building confidence within your organization, within your employees, but also with the audience. And then you start to build a community around that. And then you can build an NFT collection because you already built the audience and the community. And the community already know that your brand is not there just to, you know, for a cash grab. You
Yeah.
are building, you are
Got
discussing, you are bringing value, you are creating content, you are buying an ENS domain. Maybe you are even buying art from different artists just to show off that you are entering the space, that you are not there just,
it.
hey, let's make $1 million. So I think this is a good approach. A lot of companies will not follow this approach because you have a lot of steps, but I think it's a good
Yeah.
approach.
I think it requires, you said, requires a lot of small baby steps. And one of the
Yeah.
most crucial parts is uh, building a community. And a lot of companies haven't done it right. What's the best way to go about building a community according to you, Tiago?
Yeah, man, this is a great
This,
point because community is like the buzzword of Web3, like decentralization, community, and so on. You have a lot of different buzzwords, and they are important, of course.
Yeah.
But talking about community, a lot of companies and people today, I think they like to talk about community, but they don't have a community. They have an audience, and I think this is very different because uh, with an audience you are just communicating with them. They are, receiving the message, they can provide feedback, but you are not building with them.
Okay.
So I think a great case here is Artifact that was acquired by Nike, I think maybe two
Yeah,
years
yeah, yeah,
ago,
yeah,
1 year and a
yeah.
half
yeah.
ago,
Articulate.
because they are 100. I don't, I'm not sure about 100%, but they are very community driven, and they are building all their products and all their communication and so on with the community. So I think this is a great case for people. And of course, Nike acquired them because of first their technological capabilities. Of course, they know about smart contracts, they know about all these Web3 new things that you can spend some years training your workforce about. And they are always bringing the audience to build with them. And I think this is one of the most important aspects of Web3. So if your company wants to understand and study a great case about community, I think Artifact is a great example. And also maybe other example that is not that relevant today, but was very relevant some years ago was OpenSea. Because
Yeah.
OpenSea
Yeah.
today is this, giant unicorn, $13 billion valuation, and
Yeah.
I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of employees and billions of dollars in volume. But OpenSea started with like 5, 7 employees going into Discords and saying to NFT artists in NFT collections like in 2018, 2019, hey, we have this marketplace. Do you guys want to build with us? Come here and let's learn together and so on. So, okay, today it's not that, they are giant, but they didn't start that way. So in the first day, they were, going into Discords and building the community around their platform.
What what do companies usually get wrong while making these communities? I know you mentioned that, hey, use product first principles and make sure that your audience, I mean, or the community is not just the audience, but they're building with you. Where do you think other companies just get it wrong?
Sorry, I think I didn't get the question.
What are the common mistakes that companies or brands make while trying to make a community?
Okay,
Yeah.
a lot of them, but I think this may we have some years to build these best practices, because when we are talking about communities, you need to, just
I think
you
the first
have
principle is not to run it the way you run social media, because I think that is where people are getting it wrong.
yes,
That is
yes,
the
like
fundamental.
you are not in control, I think, or at least you are not in full control of that. And I think this is a nightmare for the middle manager that is, you know for them it's natural now just to communicate things on social media, and sometimes you will have some bad comments, and you need to deal with that. But there you are, really in charge of everything, you are in control. And when we are talking about communities, the community is in control. So I think we are still some years far from that, like the best practice on that. But I think the first point is knowing that you are not in full control of that. And this is a good point to start with small bets. You don't need to place a big bet and build this huge product around Web3, because you'll not be in 100% control of that. So you can place small bets and start building with the community, and your core business will still be a Web2 business, and that's
Got it.
fine. That's great. And you can start placing these small bets and building with the community.
Got it. I think with that, the fundamental of brand building will also change. Like concept like having a brand safety or a brand value or equity, everything exists because things are centralized. There is someone deciding something. But with community, I
Exactly.
think the fundamental will change, and maybe tomorrow we'll see new kind of marketers and advertisers and brands. And I think I'm
Yes.
excited to see where this journey goes.
Yes. Like before social media, we had like radio and television, and brands, they were almost like 100% controlling the narrative. So they would just make an ad in television, and that's it. You don't have communication.
Yeah.
With social media, you have some communication, you have people commenting, you have people making memes and so on. And now we take a step further on that, because people,
Yeah.
they just don't want to be part of the conversation. they may
Exactly.
be part of the product and the brand itself. So
I
this will
think
change.
the best thing is people or consumer are getting more empowered. I think when they
Yeah.
start realizing it, I think people will start adopting it at a much larger scale.
Yes. Perfect.
I think that's a good point, Vishal. Tiago, when do you think that there'll be mass adoption, or what do you think will be the trigger for a mass adoption? We all of us thought that Bitcoin and Ethereum, that may be a place where people start using it for transactions. But now that, we're going through a crypto winter, the hype has gone down. So what
Yeah.
do you think? How will the mass adoption come to fruition?
And I really don't know, but I
Mm.
like what Satya Nadella said some weeks ago, saying that blockchain needs a chat GPT moment, because AI was this important technology for uh, 50 years, and people were always saying, hey, AI is important, AI is important, AI will change everything. And AI was being used by big techs for a long time, like YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and so on. But right now we are seeing AI coming to the masses. So everyone can
Yeah,
interact and build new things and so on. And I think with blockchain, we still need this kind of killer apps that will drive millions and millions of people
yeah,
within just a few months. I think we are still not there yet. Maybe we have some industries that can help with that, like gaming, like entertainment, like TV series, movies, and so on. I think this will drive some of this part from mass adoption, but also I believe in more boring industries like healthcare or supply chain driving a lot of businesses into blockchain
yeah.
as well. So
Got it.
I would not say when we will have this, but we have a lot of brilliant people working on this right now.
Got it. I don't know when it will be, but I have two hypotheses. One would be the example of Chat GPT. I think more than the app, it work on the fundamental of simplification and easy to use. Like Chat GPT was as easy as going to a website and typing something. It was as easy as Google search. So I think that
Yeah.
easy to use removed all the barrier for a person who do not understand tech to using AI. That is maybe my
Yes.
hypothesis. One second hypothesis, if it comes as a luxury, like if Apple is launching a VR headset with Web3 feature, first the premium and elite people will start using it, and it will create the aspiration to use it, and slowly a Samsung or someone else will launch it at a much cheaper price, and then it will get mass adopted. I think that is how most things work in our society as a fundamental.
Yeah, I think we have a lot of great companies and builders addressing these problems right now. So, for example, when me and Kaina started to go into the rabbit hole of NFTs, Polygon was not a thing. You know, I think they didn't have an integration with OpenSea yet at the time. So, and right now Polygon is everywhere. Building
Yeah.
Yeah,
hundreds and hundreds
massive.
of different things. Exactly. So another great example is from Crossmint, from Hodri, that is a great friend. So they are building this technology for people to buy NFTs with a credit card in a very simple process that was not possible like 2 years ago. And I think a lot of these small, not small, Polygon is not small, but a lot of these decentralized builders building these kinds of applications will drive mass adoption. But of course, I agree with Satya Nadella that we may need a driver,
Yeah.
giant application that will spark the mass adoption.
Yeah. On that, maybe that Starbucks or ODC can be a thing, because again it plays in the elite or premium product range, and maybe it can be a gateway, but I don't know. It's just launched.
So just changing gears a little bit. So Tiago, when a company comes to you and say, "Hey, We have some money. We want to do something in Web3 or NFT or metaverse world. How do you go about helping them? Like, what are the steps and or the process of educating them or giving them the expertise to implement something?
Yeah, today much of my work is in giving talks and workshops for these companies,
Mhm.
and in a lot of these conversations, this is a bit cliche, but the most important question is why, you know, because Start with Why by Simon Sinek. This is a very cliche concept right now, but I think it's very important for Web3 because Web3 is still very tech oriented, I think. So you have great technical minds thinking about Web3 and building products and so on. But the average citizen, he is he would not give a shit about the tech. He just need to have something great in their hands or to solve a problem. So I think when a brand is thinking about joining the space, they need to have a very clear why they want to join the space, and then you can start to build using that the answer to that question. So Starbucks, for example, they have a very clear why on their journey to enter Web3 because they already have a very loyal community. They already have a very successful loyalty program,
Yeah.
and they are asking themselves probably something like, "Hey, maybe you can try Web3 to take more steps into the future of loyalty. And maybe 5 years from now, this will be huge for us." And this is a powerful why. So, of course, we are all thinking as a brand, you need to think about money. So you need to put ROI in that equation. But you're thinking just about money. I think this is not a good answer. You can think about, hey, we just to learn about this space. We just to learn how our audience will think about this space. So for example, we have this esports organization called 100 Thieves, and they did a massive airdrop for I think almost 1 million people that got their NFT that was celebrating a tournament that they won, and it's a free, you know, NFT. You just need to enter here. You just need to claim, and that's it. You don't have a lot of utility. And let's go. This is our community. No, they are just testing the audience, their own capabilities, how the audience will receive that. So I think this is important. You need to know why are you entering the space, and maybe one or two big goals that we you want to achieve.
Fair point. For individual users or the audience, people who are just interested to learn Web3 and get into this world, somebody who has no clue what an NFT is or what a blockchain is, and they want to go from 0 to 1 and then 1 to 10, what would be your recommendation to them?
uh, Sorry about this, guys, but I will need to recommend the book I will be publishing probably some weeks or months from now. But it's perfect for people that know nothing about NFTs and want to go from 0 to 1. And of course, you have a lot of great sources out there. I think when you're just starting out, it's good to select three very trustable sources that you can follow, because if you try to follow everyone, you can just get confused, and sometimes you can, just enter scams and start losing money and so on. So I think having these three very trustable sources is important. And of course, you need to get your hands dirty. You can learn about Web3 just by reading my book or
Yeah.
listening to this podcast or writing or reading articles and so on. Of course, this is important, but you need to get your hands dirty. You need to interact with MetaMask. You need interact with OpenSea, with Mirror, with Uniswap, and so on. And I'm not saying here to invest, like put $1,000 on this new NFT collection and make profit. Okay, this is good, but you can end up, just losing money. So I think you need to get your hands dirty as soon as possible and have very trustable sources.
No, I fully echo to you. Rather, my first NFT that I minted was through your course, and I think
Oh,
I was in the batch of some 120 or 130. I don't remember the
oh,
number, but
that's
it was
awesome.
around that. But yeah, I think I got introduced a year ago through that, and yeah, I think then that's a great start. On that, I would like
That's awesome.
to understand where is inevitable headed today, and where are you guys playing around, and what are your plans for that?
Yeah, we are doubling down on the on education. Like we have been doing this for a year right now, and I am more bullish than ever on the educational side of Web3. I think some people are correct when they say, "Hey, we don't need to educate the masses about blockchain because we just need great applications so they can use blockchain." I think
True.
that's a good point. That's fair enough. But of course, we need to educate the builders so they can build, and
Yeah.
we need to educate the marketeers and the innovators so they can build these applications, and then we have mass adoption. So I think I'm more bullish than ever for this. I have been doing a lot of talks and workshops for companies that want to understand the space from a very realistic way, not just, hey, let's make a collection and raise $1 million. Okay, this can be done, but it's not just it's not the only path you can follow. So our next steps are these. I'm launching these books in the next few months, and I've been doing a lot of talks with companies, and yeah, I think I'm more bullish than ever on doing this.
Let's talk a little bit about the book or the books
Okay.
that you're writing. What is it named? If you've already named them, and what is it about?
Okay. The first one is based on the course that Vishal just mentioned. The course was called Non-Fungible Course, and the book's called Non-Fungible Book, Introduction to NFTs. So it's very simple, very straightforward, very realistic, explaining the technology, why it matters, bringing cases, and very short as well. You can
Mhm.
read very fast. It will be available in Amazon, but also I will publish it for free in on Mirror. And the second one is called the NFTs Playbook. This one is for people that already know about NFTs, so they understand the concept, they understand why it matters, but now they want to take some steps forward and build a strategy for their brand, for their clients, and so on. This one probably I will publish in more some months from now, but the non-fungible book should be available some weeks from now.
Really happy to hear that. Hope that's one of the really hot selling books out there.
Once it is out, definitely we'll put the link with the podcast. But yeah, congratulations on
Awesome.
that, and again, all the best, because writing is also a difficult job. So all the best on that. Hope it comes
Yes.
out in its full glory.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Think what are the so there has been a funding, I won't say funding freeze, but a funding slowdown over the last year. Also thanks to Bitcoin and Ethereum prices crashing or really decreasing. How do you think this is going to impact this industry? Will we see different kind of use cases or different kind of startups being funded, or we'll see just a slowdown in this space? Or what's your thought?
Yeah, I think a lot of Web3 companies that were born in the last 2 years, they will, die. I think this is the hard truth. And of course, if you are well capitalized and you have a lot of capital, you can survive until the market is back and keep building. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, bear market is important to build these foundations. And when we have the bull market again, you can just surf the wave. And I think this may impact the market, yes, not only because of crypto, but because of the tech industry as a whole.
Yeah.
When we had the dot-com bubble as well, like the market didn't recover in 1 or 2 years. Like was like 6 years, 5 years, 7 years. So I think this can happen with Web3. It doesn't mean that the market will just disappear. Like Messeri has this beautiful image that says these innovations will not be uninvented. So all these things that we are talking right now, uh, they will not be uninvented. They will be there, and people will keep building, and people will keep adopting them. But of course, I think given the crypto market and the tech scenario right now, we may have hard some tough years upon us. But of course, those who survive these years will be ready for the next bull market and will surf the wave.
Well, hopefully we see the sun soon in the
Yeah,
Web3 space.
No, I think it will happen. I'm hopeful because fundamentally these technology are very revolutionary. They're going to simplify a lot of things. I think it's a
yeah,
matter of time. We'll start seeing mass adoption, and I think a lot of companies are doing. A lot of companies, the Fortune 500, are actually building stuff around this and mainstreaming this. So I think in the next 2 years we'll see a lot of things transformed really fast. Like Tiago say, AI has been there for a long time, but now with Chat GPT, a lot of things are happening. We are seeing thousands of AI tools. Even Google launched their own AI tool, which said something wrong in their video. But I think that is where we would be in the next 1 or 2 years. So we just need that one superstar to shine. Rest will follow.
yeah.
So thanks for mentioning ChatGPT. So do you think there'll be some intersections between the Web3 world and the AIs of today's?
Yes, I think we're still discovering these intersections, but when we think about Chat GPT or Mid Journey, for example, they are at the end of the day productivity tools. Like AR for the masses, they are about productivity.
Yeah.
And when we think about, for example, content creation, a lot of people are talking about this right now. Hey, you can create a lot of content with ChatGPT. You can create awesome images with Mid Journey and so on. And this will happen. And just imagine when we have more and more people entering the internet and more people creating content, this will be a mess. And we will need some tools and technologies to authenticate real creators, authenticate real content, authenticate original content to prevent, for example, deepfakes or something like that. And the technologies and blockchain is perfect for that. So I can see right now a clear
Wow.
intersection between blockchain and AI on this content creation field. Because if you created something and you have to prove that you originally created that. how can you prove that? Oh,
Yeah,
we have some
I
we
think
have
that
some
that's
good
brilliant.
technologies for that.
I think that
And
that's
of
brilliant. No, no, go
and
on.
of course, we may have a lot of different intersections that we just can't imagine right now. But yeah, I think this one is very clear right now. AI, content creation, and blockchain for property rights, for digital property rights. It's a very clear
Yeah.
match.
Or any ownership or authenticity verification. I think that is what the main purpose of it would be, because today what can happen in a hypothetical situation, someone can create a video using AI, sell it to some studio and make money, then the studio might find
Yes,
it's AI generated. And yeah, I think that's the great use
yeah.
case.
And I think that maybe being AI generated will not be a huge problem. Of course, it depends on the use case, but when we think about deep fakes, for example,
Yeah.
this is a huge problem, for example, here in Brazil and of course other countries. But you can put like a politician saying whatever you want them to say and just share on WhatsApp, and that thing will go viral. And that's a huge problem. And you can just attach blockchain on this, and people can verify the source and verify all the, the historical and so on. We don't have this yet, but I think it's a very great use
I
case
mean,
for
Mm.
this.
No, I
you,
think it is coming soon, at least on social media. Instagram had
Yeah.
launched digital collectibles where
yeah,
they're promoting NFTs. So I think it's a matter of time when they launch this also, that it is blockchain verified. I think
Yes.
it's the same mess that happened with Twitter Blue when it was initial launch. People started creating account and parody account, and people were don't know how to what to believe and who to believe.
Yeah.
I think that is where
This
blockchain can truly solve it.
Yes, this is already a huge problem. Like I was seeing a startup yesterday that on Instagram, it's very easy to create a fake account and then send a direct message, like for example, uh, saying that you are selling something
Okay.
for people. And a lot of finance influencers here in Brazil, they have this problem. And now a startup is addressing this problem by creating an NFT that verifies the original creator, so people can see in the profile of that creator if they have the verified NFT. And if they don't have, they are not the real creator. So of course, this is just an example, very tiny yet, but I can clearly see this being huge in the next years.
but it's a great one. Even in India, your fake news is a big mess. A lot of agenda is being driven through WhatsApp messages, and if people knew that, hey, this is something that I can believe on because it's blockchain verified, it'll be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, great, man. So, Tiago, thank you so much for
Thank you so
spending
much.
a lot of time with us and educating our users about what's happening and what's the best way to go about. I really love to have you on the podcast. Hopefully, um, we'll have you again sometime soon. Then let's talk more
Was
about your book as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Thank you so much, guys. It was a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much. It was
Yes.
great.